All right, the 5 fundamentals, the 5 precepts, the 5 things you need to do to have a well-rounded prospecting career.
This is your first day in real estate, and I am your real estate sales trainer and coach, James Festini. And this is the program that's going to teach you how to sell more real estate in less time.
In another segment about the hierarchy, Festini's hierarchy of leads. Not to be confused with Laszlo's hierarchy of needs, but it's very similar because you need leads to get paid. So the 5 pillars, the 5 precepts, the 5 fundamentals of prospecting are these. And I showed you before in one of my screenshots. They are snail mail, like old school postage stamp, email, voicemail, text, and face-to-face. Is that what it is? No. It's, let me look at my other hand and see if that's the one. It is snail mail, email, text or messenger, telephone, and door-to-door. Those are the ones. I'll repeat it. Snail mail. They call it snail mail because it's slow over, you know, the snail, the mail carrier, old school postage stamp, U.S. postage. And we've got the snail mail. We've got email. Now these are also in order of importance and effectiveness because some of them are more effective than others. Snail mail is probably the least effective. Sending out a letter is almost very passive, and I tell you what, all of these are these 3 are passive, and these 2 are active, meaning that you can elicit a response, but only one of these gets a response without ignoring you. They have to answer you, or they're rude and they just close the door. This is the door. So we talk about mail, snail mail. You send out a letter, a blanket letter, a farm that you have. You drop all of these pieces of marketing. They're very expensive. Again, also the most expensive is at the tail end. So the most expensive is also the least effective. Wow, that sucks. So why would you spend your money on that? Because it's still effective. There's still one of the 5, and you got to have all 5 to have a well-balanced meal. But, you know, if you have a well-balanced meal, sugar is probably one of the least, and this is the sugar of all of those, right? The sugars. You got to have some, but you shouldn't. Now we're talking about the salts, the email. This is digital sending of an email, and this includes BombBomb, even though BombBomb makes it more effective. BombBomb being the video platform, video email, makes it a little more effective because you can kind of get some algorithms and some tracking, some analytics, not algorithms, analytics, where you can see that they open. But if they don't respond, how many bombs do I have sitting out there that keep exploding, but nobody's coming in and being like, hey man, I love that BombBomb. No, they're just like opening it. So that's kind of weird, right? So snail mail, email, including BombBomb, sending it out, but it's very passive. They open it and then they don't respond. Text, and these are, by the way, only 5. If you can think of another one, I'm sure it falls into these categories, because you guys can be like, well, what about Messenger, MSN Messenger? I'm not MSN Messenger. What about Facebook Messenger? What about Facebook itself? Is that's digital? That's digital mailer. So Facebook advertising, so to speak, or Zillow advertising falls somewhere in between these ones right here, where it's like snail mail, but it's digital mail, so it's kind of email, but it's also messenger if you can get some sort of like a response mechanism to tell you that they actually did come in. You know what I mean? But they're in there. It's all in there. It's all part of it. It's all of these 2, email and text, all that did was replace the first one, mail. It's still mail. Old school mail. Just went digital, 0s and 1s. It's still the same thing. Passively reaching out, and unless they come back at you, that's it. You got no response. Now, the 2 that are active, I say use all 5 of these, but the 2 that are active is the phone. The telephone. Picking up the phone. Hey, has anyone ever done this? Usually people do that. I'm going to do this. Hello. Picking up the phone and calling someone and speaking to them by phone. But if they don't pick up the phone, worse than that is swiping left on you. If they don't answer the phone, you don't get any response. But it's still one of the methods that you have to use. You have to use it in order to have an effective follow-up, well-balanced diet, I guess you could say. Well-balanced system for prospecting and follow-up. Without follow-up, prospecting is a complete waste of your time. The fortune is in the follow-up, they say. So if you don't have a good follow-up system, so what happens when you have all four of these exhausted and they're still, because they're all still very passive. And especially since 2000, I don't know, 2005, I'd say maybe more so in 2007, where caller ID became the dominating technology. You see, from 1993 when I started in this business, even 1992 I started prospecting, caller ID was a luxury. Caller ID was on the home phone, and you would have the luxury of having it show up. You buy a special phone and it would show, but it wasn't in your phone. It was kind of like at your home. Nobody had a cell phone, right? So you couldn't see the caller ID, and then for a short time it was pagers. Remember those beepers, Motorola? But they would have those, and you would see the caller ID because that's how they called you back, but there was no conversation. But right then when the telephone came out, caller ID came up, and now people can start flagging you on this most effective. Since 1993, this has made me millions. And I'm telling you, it's still very, very effective. The telephone is still an extremely reliable source for lead generation methods, no doubt. Why do you think I still spend my time knocking on 100 doors? Because it's effective, and calling 100 contacts a day because it's effective. It's the best use of my time if I don't want to spend a ton of money on these other methods and praying that the gods of chance bless me with a listing. Sure, it does help to get name recognition, but there's no better name recognition than selling every house in the neighborhood and then marketing and farming effectively based on your recent sales, not just on some, hey, I'm here, ego piece that never quite actually gets you much business at all. I mean, trust me, there are so many stories of agents who have spent years marketing in territories and never made a penny off of it. But it's because they like it. They want to live there, so they start spending money. Target marketing. Just listed, just sold postcards with no results. Are you one of those? Please in the comments below say, guilty. I've sent X amount of mailers with 0 results. Putting out a mailer in this way, it's effective, but it's a marriage. You have to marry the farm. You don't just have a one-night stand with your farm and expect them to come back for more. It's just not going to happen. It's a marriage. So now we've got all of these 4. We've covered the 4. The 5th one, the most effective, unfortunately the most time-consuming. So you've got the cheapest one, the most expensive and least effective. Least expensive, most effective. But it costs in the way of time. Drive time, getting out, knocking on the door, they're not there. Clearly, completely ineffective if they don't open the door. And beyond that is that you're going to have people who you'll leave a note on the door that says, sorry, I missed you. Give me a call. And they still don't. I've dropped off probably, 20 of those. Do they think like this is a fake marketing campaign? Are there agents out there writing notes on every door saying, sorry, I missed you, call me? They certainly must know I'm knocking on the door because I've been sending them mailers. They can't. How are these people ignoring me? That's so not cool. Why are they doing that? Why? Because we live in a swipe left generation where they just, not interested, delete. And they delete your attempts at a marketing ploy because it's not the right time. So which one of these should you implement? All of them. Which ones should you implement in order? I would say start with this one. In order of effectiveness, pound for pound. See, it's funny how like they go backwards and forwards. In the order of effectiveness in lead generation, it goes this way, where the mail is the least effective lead generation. Of course, depending on how much money you have. If you spend, $10,000 a month on mailers, then it's highly likely that you will be able to get quite a bit of results. But that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. You got that kind of money. Ooh. Could you imagine if you spent that kind of money door knocking, cold calling, and triple down with a very effective marketing campaign to back up your door knocking and cold calling efforts? Man, you'd be pretty good at that. And then, of course, the doors. Just go into the door. If you exhaust all of these methods for follow-up, these are also the ways that you got to reach people. If the people are not answering if they're not responding to your mail, if you got a lead, they don't respond to your mail, they don't respond to your email, and they're not responding to your text or your digital attempts, whether it's text or messenger or, whatever digital, however marketing you do, and they don't answer your phone or their phone number is disconnected, the final frontier is the door. But all of these 5, these are all one and the same. They go hand in hand. Which one are you going to use? Which one are you going to use? You got to use all of them. I have to use all of them to do effective follow-up. I recommend you do. If you guys are curious on how to do these effectively, and if you really want to implement a better strategy, wow, that car just drove by. It had a real estate sign, probably about this big. It was a sticker. I couldn't see anything. I could see her phone number, could not see her name for the life of me. It was the new Century 21 logo, so 99.999% of the population doesn't even know what that is. What are they thinking? Anyhow, wow. Please let me help you. You might be doing it wrong. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just saying I don't want you to confuse movement with work. I don't want you to confuse printing marketing pieces as effectiveness. It doesn't work that way. I want you guys to be successful. And if you don't succeed, I don't succeed. So get back to work. But first, let me help you. JamesFestini.com. If you're not a part of the 100-day Beast Mode Lead Gen Prospecting Challenge, it's a new revised version called the T100, where it's 100 days. Every day you get a video of knowledge, wisdom, inspiration, marketing, everything you need to know to be a better agent. Have your bread, eat it, get to work, come back the next day and have more. What are you doing? I really don't know what you're doing. I don't know. I still can't see a more effective use of my time than what I'm doing now, unless I'm not willing to work as many hours and I'm willing to spend money on other things. But so long as I'm young and healthy and I can handle, I'm not young, but I'm young enough to do this by calorie and not have to sacrifice cash to do it, I'll do it. I'm not ashamed of the work I do. I don't have a problem knocking on the door and having someone say, no, I'm not affected by that. I talked about, the fear of rejection. There's no rejection. They're not interested, they're not interested. Now, if they say, hey, I'm not interested in you because you came to my door, even that doesn't reject me. It's not rejection. If they don't appreciate what I'm willing to do and they're not willing to take the time to find out who I am, there's plenty of other people who are willing to use my services, and I'll do whatever it takes to help those who need my help and appreciate my honesty and integrity, my wisdom and my expertise. Otherwise, people can just go.
This episode is brought to you by MojoSells.com. Expireds for sell by owners and prospecting solutions along with DNC compliance. It is my CRM of choice because I can set up emails and letters and follow-up campaigns to follow up more efficiently with the leads that I generate. Go to MojoSells.com and make sure you tell them Festini sent you. This episode is also brought to you by Spodio, the perfect door knock companion. Download the Spodio app today. You want more knowledge? Please find me anywhere you consume content. On YouTube, go to James Festini. If you want to listen to my content on iTunes, please leave me a 5-star review. Join the Festini Mafia at jamesfestini.com/training. There you'll find all of my products and information. If you like to make money, get back to work.